Hey guys, it's great to be back to the land of books and movies after a brief yet time consuming absence. Now I'm back with a book and movie that makes it very clear that the only thing necessary for evil to persist is for good men to do nothing. And that book and movie are The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It's a book about the Holocaust and World War II and anti Semitism geared towards grade schoolers. The reading comprehension questions in the back of the book give that away. Anyway, the story in the book is told entirely through the lens of 8-year-old Bruno. The movie does this as well, but deviates from his point of view from time to time. Also, they both start the same, with moving day for the family because Bruno's father, identified only as father in the book and named Ralph in the movie, has been promoted. The movie doesn't say it, but the book tells us, through Bruno's 8-year-old lens, that the Fury has put him in charge of a place called Outwith, which is revealed later in the book to be Der Fuhrer and Auschwitz, which is a childlike misunderstanding that still leaves me puzzled, because this is a German speaking family from Berlin, and these misunderstandings are how someone English speaking would hear them. Anyway, so off they go to their new home, far away from Berlin and all of Bruno's friends, his grandparents, and the only people he could possibly talk to out there are Maria, their housemaid, and Gretel, his sister, who he calls the hopeless cause or hopeless case in the book. Whatever that means. Anyway, while the book spends a little more time on Bruno whining to go back to Berlin because he misses his friends, and his family telling him to make the best of their circumstances, the movie wastes no time exercising his 8-year-old curiosity. He sees the detention camp from his window and sees the prisoners. He also sees the same prisoners carrying vegetables from the camp's garden to the house and assumes it's a farm, but is puzzled by the attire worn by these farmers, the striped pajamas. When we get to this point in the book, he doesn't think it's a farm because there are no farm animals, but the layout of it tells him it is indeed a very nasty place. The next sequence of events is what really flesh out the story, and they're an exact match from book to movie. First is the introduction of Lieutenant Kotler, who is equally a hot-headed violent prick in both book and movie, as is Gretel's crush on him, and Bruno's disdain for him. And the moment where Bruno wipes out on his tire swing and receives medical attention from Pavel, the prisoner who washes and peels the vegetables, who reveals himself to be a doctor. This is where Bruno's curiosity takes him to the barbed wire fences where he meets Shmuel. Everything about Shmuel is the same from book to movie. He and Bruno become instant friends. He tells Bruno about his family and his life before the camp. And Bruno brings him things to eat, and they talk and play games. And the one day Bruno finds Shmuel in his sitting room cleaning drinking glasses is the same, as is their altercation with Lieutenant Kotler, which is watered down to a single black eye in the movie. In the book, Bruno found Shmuel days later, after that incident, covered in bruises. The division of Bruno's family over what Ralph is overseeing is ramped up from book to movie. His mother, Natalie, openly tells him she's ashamed and doesn't support the Third Reich before she passes away. Ralph and Elsa fight constantly over what their children are being exposed to after Lieutenant Kotler makes a crass comment about the burning of the bodies. But also, back to Lieutenant Kotler, his departure from their service is for different reasons from book to movie. In the movie, he admits that his father doesn't support the Third Reich, and therefore that makes Lieutenant Kotler unfit to serve. In the book, it is heavily insinuated that he was caught fooling around with 13-year-old Gretel. The final heartbreaking moment is also somewhat more obviated from book to movie. First off, A lice infestation necessitated Bruno getting his head shaved in the book, so he blended right in with the camp inmates when he snuck in to play with Shmuel. When he got caught up with the rest of them and herded into what they thought was a shower, the clang of the heavy airtight door and the aftermath of Bruno's family torn apart tell us what happened. In the movie, they are herded into this cell where we see the poison canister being emptied and the airtight door clanging shut. Then we see for ourselves this family destroyed and Ralph filled with regret as the movie ends. Now, before I wrap this up, I want to touch on one thing. This book was featured on the disturbing novel Iceberg chart as a fiction and a level or two above Night by Elie Wiesel, which is a nonfiction, also about Holocaust surviving, about the author's, it's his own memoir of time spent first in a ghetto and then two concentration camps that he survived. This was classroom reading when I was in middle school, and it shocked me. It spared nothing on details, and the fan art tells it all. Which brings me to a final point I would like to take a second to preach on. All lives matter, guys. All of them, regardless of religion or skin color. And any argument to the contrary is how this crap starts. And that is all for The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Before I bid you good night, please take a minute for the fussy but necessary for me to keep this channel going. Comments, likes, shares, subscribes if you haven't yet, and check out my sponsor in the description. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you next book and movie.